Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
Is Jake.
Oh, mata.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
My bad.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
This is Mac.
Mata.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is this is Fleric.
This is Mac.
And this is our Midway recap episode for the Aki Basho. We have just watched through day 8, so there is going to obviously be spoilers through day 8, and there are matas aplenty to be had in this tournament. Mac, you've actually calculated how many matas there have been in this Basho so far.
Indeed, I have. We are at 25 right now.
Is it calculated or just counted?
Well, I had to add them all from each day, so I had to put them all in separate brackets. Okay. Then I had to divide them out.
Yeah, he had to run the mata calculator.
Indeed.
To, get the true calculation.
I see. You had to find the average number of matas per day and then multiply it by the number of days in order to find how many total.
Correct. And then I went individually by Rickshi to see who actually had the most matas.
Jesus. And the answer was?
Still tabulating.
No, needless to say, there have been a lot of matas in this tournament. There's also been a lot of losses in this tournament, as it is day 8 and we have yet to have any Kachikoshis. In fact, on day 9, we still will not have any Kachikoshis, as our co-leaders, all freaking 9 of them, are tied at 6 and 2. So,
whoa. You said no Kachikoshis?
There won't be any Kachikoshis on day 9. The best record anybody can have is 7 and 2.
But there was a Kachikoshi today. Shohozan.
That's a Makekoshi, Mac.
Oh, whoops. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do we need
to still tabulating?
Do you need to re-listen to our intro to Sumo episode, Mac?
Mata.
So yeah, we have 9 guys tied at 6 and 2. The top ranked guy at that rank is Ozeki Takakeisho, and it actually looks like he is over those nagging injuries that he had, but not quite over being hanked and pushed down at the Tachi-ai. As I thought he was going to be our sole leader at 7 and 1 today, but Tochinoshin had other thoughts.
Yeah, he did.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean,
I loved it.
Really just a smart move on his part, because I mean,
it was.
Takakeisho goes, basically his upper body was horizontal to the ground, and there was no way he was going to be able to do anything if Tochinoshin looked up at the Tachi-ai as he did and just slapped him down easily.
Yeah, I would love to just know how much more Rick Shirok watching tape nowadays, with all the less day gecko. Just training with other Heias, because I have a feeling Tochinoshin just watched a bunch of his matches you know what, he's not really looking into Tachi-ais. I bet I can hank this guy, the crap out of this guy.
and probably a little bit of revenge, because Takakeisho is the guy that denied Tochinoshin his Ozeki rank.
Oh, was that a straightforward match, or was that just...
Yeah, that was, I don't remember which Basho, but Takakeisho versus Tochinoshin. The winner of that match would be Ozeki, because that would have completed Takakeisho's Ozeki run, or if Tochinoshin had won, that would have, I believe, gotten him to 8 wins and allowed him to retain his Ozeki rank.
It was exactly 1 year ago on day 11. Takakeisho won by Okuri Taoshi. I don't remember the match specifically, but at least it wasn't if it was a Henka or something, it would have said Hitaki Komi or something like that.
Yeah, you gotta get that revenge in. So good on Tochi.
That's our narrative for that match, at least. A little bit of a revenge Henka.
Probably my second favorite Tochi Henka.
Oh, I mean, the Kakuryu is legendary.
Oh, totally.
That one will never be surpassed. Also at 6 and 2, we have a Sekiwake, and it's the Sekiwake that I said I had the least confidence coming into this tournament. Shodai. He is pretty much the only Sekiwake at this point that is on pace to keep his Ozeki run alive, although he did get a very lucky win today against Miyogiryu. They were both kind of at the edge of the Tawara, and Shodai clearly lost his balance, was stumbling back to the middle of the dohyo. But he was very lucky, as Miyogiryu just so happened to also be in the middle of losing his balance.
Yeah,
and Shodai just
bad.
Ran into Miyogiryu, recaptured his balance using Miyogiryu, and then shoved him out of the dohyo.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is pure luck on Shodai's part to be at 6-2.
See,
All
that's
of his
something I was
matches.
gonna.
A hot take from Fleric.
That is a hot take and a dumb take, because besides that match, Shodai has actually looked pretty good in all of his wins. It hasn't been that kind of, we talked about on the Midway last Basho, where it's just like Shodai has nothing going in his brain. He just lets the Tachi-ai happen and then just wacky crazy things until he wins. This day, this tournament so far, day 8 notwithstanding, he's actually been a man with a plan and has overpowered his opponents most days, and actually seemed like a competent sumo wrestler, not just a competent and very lucky sumo wrestler.
To be fair, though, today exactly played into that narrative.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we'll see how the rest of week 2 goes. Also at 6-2, we have Maegashira 1 East, Teru no Fuji. He had a bit of a rough start. He started off 0-2, losing to Takakeisho and Mitake Yumi, but he has won 6 straight matches, and he has already fought all of his tough matches. He's already fought everybody in the Sanyaku matches. All of his matches from here on out have to be ranked below him because he's already fought everybody else. Mac, is he going to go back-to-back?
Nothing would make me happier than to see a back-to-back that's not Hakuho. So at this point, I have to give it to him. But no, I think he's looked really good. I've enjoyed watching all of his matches. It doesn't look like he's really taking his time. He's not rushing anything. So I think he's got the jitters out of him now. So yeah, I think there's definitely a strong likelihood we can see a back-to-back performance here.
Yeah, I would say the past 6 days, obviously the first 2 days notwithstanding, he's probably looked the best out of all the Rikishi to me. I mean, everybody is 6-2 at this point, so it's not like anybody has been outstanding. But I think in his 6-match win streak, I think he's looked the best out of everybody else's 6 wins.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, like he's through both Ozeki already. He just, you can still very easily lose like a match, but
A Terutsuyoshi match might happen. Go for the leg.
No, it won't, because they're both Issei Hamabeya.
Oh.
There you go.
And so another guy that we're going to get to, he's in the Chaser group, but Takada Fuji, also I'm pretty sure Issei Gahama, and so they will not face off either.
Yeah, it's I think the strength of schedule looking at Teru no Fuji is like not nearly as bad.
It's in his
Yeah,
favor.
very, very much in his favor. So the next guy we have at 6-2 is Maegashira 5 East, Kiri Bayama. And so all of the top 3 guys, I think we don't need to say whether they're a pretender or contender to the Yusho. Fleric, shut up about Shodai. I think we can all agree that they could all feasibly win this Yusho, even Shodai. But I think everybody else, like, we know some of these guys are just going to start fading in the second week. So want to try to figure out which one of the guys that are in the leading pack right now are pretenders to the Yusho or June Yusho, or actual contenders to win one of those titles. So Fleric, Kiri Bayama, is he a pretender or a contender in this Yusho?
I'm gonna have to go with pretender on this one for Kiri Bayama. It's just like he's been looking better this Basho, but it's like it's been a lot of shakiness from him. So I don't know, like his win's been looking pretty good, but I still have that previous Basho, just last one in my head of where he did not do so well. I am going to talk very slowly while I look up what that was. A 6-9, Maegashira 3. So I think as he gets more and more, let me take a look. Yeah, he's mostly been kind of Maegashira 4 through 6. He's starting to get through the higher up Sanyaku matches coming up pretty soon. Like now he has Takakeisho on day 9 coming up. I think we're going to start to kind of see his struggles that he saw last Basho against an upper echelon Rikishi, and I think he's going to start to get a couple more losses. So pretender.
I was curious, based on his position in the Bansuke with some of the injuries that we've had, if he was going to get pulled up for some of those Sanyaku matches. And as you said, he's going up against Takakeisho tomorrow. So yeah, his schedule looks like it's going to get tougher in this second half of the tournament. Our next leader is Maegashira 6 East, Takayasu. Jake, is he a pretender or a contender?
I think Takayasu's definitely a contender. His 2 losses, let's see, days 3 and 5. Other than that, he has looked pretty awesome, I think. There was day 7 is a really funky one. I don't know if you guys remember his match against Aoyama. Yeah, I legitimately went into the next day thinking, "Oh, Aoyama won that one." So I'll just write that in my notes.
Yeah, so I was watching the Nato Sumo, and it came up at the end like Takayasu 5-2, Aoyama, and Takayasu lost that. Like I was pretty sure I remembered the Gyoji pointing to Aoyama, so I had to rewind and rewatch the match, and I think they got it right.
Yeah, they did.
I think they did, but like the way that I watch sumo, it seemed obvious, so I just moved on. I just went to the next match. But yeah, either way, I think that the excellent battle that he lost to Tochinoshin notwithstanding as well, he has looked pretty good. I think he's definitely a contender for like a Junyu show. If he's up in that range, he'll get some hard matches towards the end of the tournament. Harder than the ones that he's already getting. But for the most part, I think he'll be facing guys outside of the Sanyaku, and I think that's going to help him get double digits again. And I would love to see that, and love to see him back in the Joy at least one more time here. But I'm predicting another 10-5 for him at worst.
Yeah, I think there's one thing about old Ozeki. We kind of saw this last spot with Terunofuji. They can always kind of bring it during tough matches against their old cohorts of Ozeki as well. So like if he does get those couple matches like up against the Sanyaku, I think he still has a very good chance against those matches, and he can definitely contend for a Yusho. Yeah,
I think a large part of guys like Takayasu, and sometimes you see this with Kota Shogaku, but like they have the technique. That's your technique isn't the thing that falls apart as you get older. It's your health. So when you see guys like Kota Shogaku and Takayasu, I suppose to a lesser extent because he's a little younger, really their performance just depends on how healthy they are. Because if they were at 100%, they'd be fine and they'd kick everybody's ass. That's how they got to Ozeki in the first place. But yeah, for Takayasu, he's looking healthier than he has in a little while, and that has that's a big part of why he's doing well, because the technique is certainly not a problem for him.
All right, so we've gone over 5 of our co-leaders so far, and right now it looks like we have 4 contenders and 1 pretender. Let's see if we can weed a few more pretenders out of this leading bunch, and I'm going to do that starting with Maegashira 8 West, Wakataka Kage, one of my 3 favorite youngsters that are in the top division right now, and he's got a current 5-day winning streak going, but as he's a Maegashira 8 rank, the highest ranked guy he's fought is Takada Fuji at Maegashira 5. He has Takayasu tomorrow, so I'd feel a lot better about this conversation after the results of that match were done. But I'm going to say Takayasu wins that match, and I think even if Wakataka Kage wins that match and wins a couple more and he starts getting paired up against some of the, maybe he gets pulled up to face like a Shodai or something like that, I think by that point his inexperience in the top division will cost him. He'll just drop all of those matches. So I think Wakataka Kage contender for a special prize, but I don't think he's getting a Yusho or Jun Yusho in this tournament. The next guy is going to be Maegashira 9 West Onosho, who is actually the sole leader after day 5, where he was 5-0, but then he dropped the next 2 matches and then picked up another win on day 8. Mac, is Onosho a pretender or contender?
This one's really difficult because we saw his past performance in the last tournament. I mean, 2-13, ouch, really bad. In this one, he's looking better. I'm loving the intensity that he's bringing. Definitely you can see in his Tachi eyes, he is ready to go. A couple of Matas, but he's just charging straight ahead, channeling that inner Takakeisho. I'm loving what he's doing on the Tachi eye. He's got some good wins, and I think moving forward, he's going to be fighting some of the lower ranked guys. My only hesitation to call him a contender is when he gets called back up to fight the guys in the upper ranks. So at this point, I gotta say Pretender.
Yeah, and I want to kind of stop down on Onosho real quick. It does look like his Tachi has changed. I don't know technically what it does for him, but it kind of looks like his feet are offset, like his left
Yeah.
foot starts
Yeah,
in front of his right. I don't know what that does for him technically and how that has led to this turnaround in this tournament, but it does look like that change in his Tachi has helped him in this tournament, obviously. Yeah.
It's working.
I feel like I've seen that from Asanoyama sometimes too, but yeah, I definitely have noticed that from his Tachi. It's also like kind of really like forward, like above the Shikiri-sen line sometimes I saw.
Yes.
There's been a couple times I've been worried that Gyoji were going to tell him to back up.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that on a couple
But
of them
no. We don't care about that. As long as their hands are down, that's what we care about.
Oh, God,
Yes.
yeah. So the next 6-2 Rikshi is Maegashira 12 East Koto Shoho, another one of my favorite youngsters. He started pretty strong in the last tournament as well, where he rattled off quite a few wins in the first week, and then he dropped off significantly in the second week, only managing an 8-7 record in that tournament. Is he going to do any better this Basho? I think probably a little better, but I don't think it's going to be enough for him to be a contender to get a Yusho or June Yusho. Once again, the inexperience is going to start coming into play. We were talking a little bit before we started recording because another guy we're about to get to, Tobizaru, is obviously having a great start. And we were talking about, like, it seems like guys that debut do pretty good to start off. And Jake's noticed like a trend of, yeah, but they really fade off in the second week. And Koto Shoho is not in his debut, but he's still a new guy to the Makuuchi division and relatively new Sekitori as well. So I think we're probably going to see another week 2 fade from him. Probably not as significantly as the July tournament, but enough that he will not be in contention for this Yusho.
Hey, Ryan, guess what his record was on day 8 last time?
I'm going to guess it was 6-2.
It was 6-2. Just
Now,
saying.
His losses haven't been bad. He lost to Tobizaru, who is a co-leader, and he lost today to Ichinojo, who is one off the lead at this point. But then again, like half the Rikshi and their mothers are one off the lead in this tournament. So he doesn't have terrible losses. We'll see how he does against co-leader Onosho. Wow. Tomorrow's going to have a lot of eliminator matches. It seems like we got quite a few Rikshi that are 6-2 going up against each other.
Yeah, whoever's doing the matches, just like this is nonsense. Let's get some. Let's pare down this Yusho race a bit.
Yeah,
but no, Koto Shoho is so strong. Like I don't know. I feel of all like the new Rikshi coming up, like he's just. I have like a lot of faith in him. I would kind of say just because he just looks so solid at what, like when he wins, he just like looks so solid, like just in the strength of the sumo, I would say.
He feels different than the others, I would say.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I'll be very curious to see how this goes. I have a feeling he's gonna be. I get the feeling he's gonna just kind of rocket to the top and just be there for like years to come.
Which is scary because he's only 20 years old and has probably a lot still to learn about sumo. So if he could keep up this trajectory, yeah, he could be a very important figure in sumo in the next decade or so. But that might be putting the cart before the horse a little bit.
Oh my God! Seriously, you guys.
I just want to put the hot take. I just want to put the hot take out there. So like when once becomes good old Sekiwaki Koto Shoho, I can say, yeah, I believed in that guy.
And indeed, a hot take.
Yeah, there's a lot fewer guys that take the Takakeisho route than there are guys that you know have a couple good performances and then just stick around in the lower ranks or even get bumped back down. So yeah, I definitely a cart way before the horse on you guys there. I feel like I should call you guys out on this one every time that he gets another 8-7.
While Jake continues to not have any fun with his like smart level takes, Fleric and I will move off of future Yokozuna Koto Shoho and start talking about future Ozeki Tobizaru.
You mean future Yokozuna Tobizaru as well. I don't know about you guys, but Tobizaru, I love this guy. He's fantastic.
Fleric, are you just balancing out your Shodai negativity by being positive about everyone else?
No. Shodai just balances himself out by being hot garbage.
No, he balances himself out on Miyogiryu.
On the Tawara with Miyogiru and possibly Daisho going, no,
There you
I
go.
want to win.
He has to have like a Miyagiri right in the middle to balance himself out. Otherwise, he would just kind of fall. But no, Tobizaru he's been fantastic. It's very exciting sumo. Like he does like this last day's match was like very indicative.
Indicative.
Big reason, yeah. Indicative of reasons why. Like he did like a spin move to break a Mawashi grip. He does leg kicks. I don't know. I just love this guy. I think he's fantastic.
Okay, that match, to add to that, Fleric, that match was so entertaining.
It was really cool.
I think it's kind of funny how we totally called that at the beginning too, when we like looked through his history of Kimarite. Like we were expecting a weird, wacky stuff from this guy, and I think that has definitely panned out.
Yeah, I think we saw like day 2 when he had a crazy Hitaki Komi of where he backed the buck super fast and like pulled the guy down. Yeah, like he definitely likes to do those pulling techniques, which I am realizing I thoroughly enjoy. Like I think people who are like what's his name's Hokuto Fuji or Onosho, who do nothing but just push and try to just be better pusher, honorable. I think that I sleep. But when we have something like Tobizaru who does spin moves and like pulls, that's when I'm awake. So I think he's a great, fantastic Rikishi. It's very exciting. I'm very, very excited to see where he goes. But I don't know. This also, I think I'm gonna have to put him in the pretender category, with whether or not he's actually has a chance to win the Yusho. Just because I love the exciting sumo, but it's a little too exciting to maybe win the Yusho, at least at this point.
Yeah, and we're calling it a trip attempt. No, that was a full-on leg kick. That was an MMA style shin
totally
kick.
swung in.
Which
he planted his left leg and went full on like, nope, I'm taking that. And his Sadano Umi's leg went right out, but just
to Sadano Umi's credit, he took that in stride, and Sadano Umi won that match today. But like, I've never seen the loser of a sumo match get up smiling like Tobizaru was. I think he was just very happy with his cheekiness in that match, and that's just makes me love him even more.
I think that's kind of funny how all the cheeky game theory type guys are ones that we end up liking. You know, like obviously like the honor is a big part of sumo, the tradition and all that, but like the guys that always stick out to us that we end up being fans of are always the guys that they're cheeky. They do whatever they can to win. And guys like Enho and Tochinoshin going for henkas and stuff like that. You if you do what you got to do to win, that's certainly a way to get noticed. And I think it's kind of funny how those guys always end up being high on the list of ones that we talk about.
Yeah. So that's our list of leaders at 6 and 2, and it sounds like we've got 4 contenders and 5 pretenders in that list. And tomorrow's gonna be a big day to figure out who the actual contenders and pretenders are, because it seems like we have a lot of eliminator matches in there. Let's stop down and talk about our 6 Rikishi at 5 and 3, just one off the lead. And through Ozeki Asanoyama, who is 5 and 3 now, let's talk about another game theory guy, Teirutsu Yoshi, and his day 7 match against Awesome Yamaka. He went for that leg pick again, and it almost worked. Asanoyama blocked him, but in blocking him, he almost lost his balance and placed his hand down on the dohyo. But just the absolute balls on Teirutsu Yoshi to actually go for that in back-to-back tournaments against an Ozeki. Like, not smart, but I love the balls.
That's an excellent way to describe
it.
Yeah. I love the commentary. I think it was Murray. He mentioned like he went for the other leg this time, so he switched up a little bit.
Yeah, it was really funny. The version that I watch generally only has the Japanese commentary, but you could tell as soon as he did that, both commentators were laughing and were clearly like clearly like very amused with the whole situation.
But let's stop down on Asanoyama a little bit. What happened to Awesome Yamaka? He started off 0-3, losing to Endo, Takanosho, and Teruno Fuji, I believe. And then day 4, he came out and damn near murdered Hokuto Fuji.
Yeah.
That was like the most WWE style fall off the doyo I've ever seen.
There was some rage behind that one.
But
the way that Tachi phrased it said that Asanoyama defeated Hokuto Fuji's lower body about 5 seconds after he had finished beating Hokuto Fuji's head and torso.
Yeah.
Hokuto Fuji, I mean, he's been showing great defense, but yeah, Asanoyama just decided today is the day that I kill a man.
Enough of this crap. I need to actually start winning. Apparently, Asashoryu got on him pretty hard because Asanoyama is in the same stable that Asashoryu was in. And it sounds like Asashoryu had like a profanity laden, like I think it was on Twitter or something like that towards Asanoyama, saying how he needs to be doing better. And that seems to be working because he hasn't lost since that 0-3 start. So that pressure must have gotten to him. But what do you think, Jake? What do you think about his start and how far will Asanoyama go in this tournament?
I think that it's probably a little bit overplayed that it was a huge deal. We know that Asanoyama is not Hakuho. We know that even if he is everybody's pick for the next Yokozuna, he's not going to be like the 50 Yusho, 15-0 for an entire year kind of guy. Because it seems like every tournament there's at least a few like questionable losses. Like he probably should have won that one, guy. And in this tournament, I think they just kind of happened together at the beginning, and it was probably demoralizing, yeah. But like really, only the Takanosho one sticks out to me as like, you know, one that he didn't really show up. Takanosho kind of like defeated Asanoyama at Asanoyama's game, which was kind of strange and upsetting. But losing to Endo is not really all that horrible of a thing to happen. Like, yeah, I think Asanoyama should have beat him. Just, you know, rankings wise, where they're at in their careers, things like that, technique wise, blah blah blah. But it's not the end of the world if you lose to Endo. Endo's pretty scrappy. He's pretty technical.
Day 1 Endo is OP.
Day 1 specifically?
Yeah, because that's when he had the match against Hakuho that sent Hakuho like on his back and eventually made Hakuho go Kyujo. That's when he did the leg trip against Kakuryu, the last Basho that made Kakuryu go Kyujo. You do not want to face Endo on day 1.
Is this 3 tournaments in a row that he's ended somebody on the first day?
Pretty much.
It's his spirit bomb. That's all it is. He gathers his energy, unleashes it all in one shot, one day. It's a spirit bomb.
He just blows his wad instantly. Just every single bit of it that he's got. No, it looks like it was 3 out of the last 4 tournaments he has ended a Yokozuna or a top ranker on the first day. Man, that is an awesome trend. Good eye there, Ryan. But so yeah, losing to the sumo god Endo on day 1, not that bad. Teruno Fuji, I really wish that he would have beat him so that this rivalry could be a little bit more even. But Teruno Fuji definitely seems to have Asanoyama's number. Every day since then, it's not really been all that dramatic. You know, Terutsuyoshi, that match was very cathartic as an Asanoyama fan. As somebody who picked Asanoyama for our prediction series, I love when he gets Fusen wins. That's just fine with me. I think I think he's probably going to be in the neighborhood of 10 wins. I could see between the 3 Sekiwake and Takakeisho, I could see him dropping another 2 perhaps. But I think 10 wins is right where I expect him to be.
Yeah, I think that's where I'd place him too. I think he's going to learn a lot from that 0-3 start and not going to let that sort of thing happen again this tournament. He's like a guy, I feel like he's kind of like me, where he learns through his mistakes. Like, yeah, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, but you're going to make a lot of mistakes only once. And I don't think we're going to see an 0-3 start from Asanoyama ever again. I think he's just using all of these bad experiences to turn into what I think eventually will be a Yokozuna. Not a Hakuho level Yokozuna because we can't expect anybody to be that level, but maybe like a Haruma Fuji, something like that. 8-9 wins. I think that's feasible for Awesome Yamaka.
Why are you calling him that?
Oh yeah,
This is bothering
Mac
me.
wasn't here for the Mac. You should have listened to the preview episode.
I get enough of you guys anyway, and besides, I was working.
So when we got a voicemail from our foreign correspondent B, calling in from Tokyo, and the transcription on Google Voice kept saying "awesome Yamaka" for Asanoyama. So
Wow.
every time we get a voicemail, it also attempts to give us a transcript, and it's always terrible.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
now.
and I don't think I could stop myself from calling him Awesome Yamaka. So that's
Ryan also learned how to spell Yamaka.
Yeah, I no idea. Yeah. All right, let's go through the rest of our 5-3 Rikishi that are just one behind the Yusho lead right now. That's going to be Maegashira 5 West, Takada Fuji, Maegashira 6 West, Kageyaki, Maegashira 11 East, Chiyo Tairyu, Maegashira 13 East, Meisei, and Maegashira 17 East, Ichinojo, keeping the hopes alive for 3 out of 4 Yusho winners to be ranked Maegashira 17 this year. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's still possible at this point. So I think going through this, we've kind of talked about who we kind of would like to see win the Yusho, but there's always like that 1 or 2 Rikishi that are leading that like you just absolutely don't want to see win. Like for me, whenever Aoyama has like his one hot tournament every 2 to 3 years, like no, please Lord no, not Aoyama. The Tamawashi one, like did anybody really want to see Tamawashi win a Yusho?
Did even Tamawashi?
So in this tournament where it seems like anybody could take it, of the Rikishi, of the Maegashira that are at 6-2 and 5-3, who do you absolutely not want to see win this Yusho? And we'll start with Mac.
See, for me on this, I have to go with Koto Shoho. And it's nothing against him personally. He's not an M17, so I can't root for him in the 3 M17 wins in 1 year kind of deal. I'm like, okay, no, that's exactly. It's like, no, you're not part of that meme. And he's still too new. I can't get a good feel on his performance, and I just don't know enough about him yet. So for me, it's not that I don't want him to win, but he just does nothing for me if he wins.
All right, well, you're completely wrong and just
yeah,
completely off base there.
Hey, that's my take.
I think for me, my favorite running gag on this podcast is the fact that Kageyaki is the most mediocre thing that has ever mediocred. And so if he wins a Yusho, like years and years worth of jokes, because honestly, I feel like this is going to be going on for years. We'll just be down the drain. So for me, I just don't like him really. So for me, Kageyaki would be worst case scenario as if he somehow took this Yusho.
I got to agree with Kageyaki. As friend of the show, Wata likes to say, his sumo technique is just a duck pushing a lawnmower. Because now that I've latched onto that, it's just the thing that I notice every time, and how he does not plan for different opponents whatsoever. He just does the same damn thing, and it's usually effective, which sucks.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, I'd say he's my number one that I do not want to win, or that I do not want to see win the Yusho. I don't want him to get a special prize. I don't want him to get a Kinboshi, nothing. As a secondary, I don't want Koto Shoho to win, because that would make Ryan unbearable.
I would love Koto Shoho to win. Let's see it.
Oh, come on, Flerick.
What about you, Flerick? Who do you not want to win this Yusho?
All right. Well, what rank is Shodai again?
Nope. We are exclusively talking about surprise Maegashira winners. And
so
Shodai's the Sekiwake.
All right. So if he's not a part of the Maegashira, then I'm gonna go with no one. I love a good upset. I would love to see any of them win the Yusho. So
even like Chiyo Tairyu, who's already in his 30s, he's not going to do anything with
dude,
the win.
Sumo Elvis, what do you mean he's not going to do anything in the win? He's he's gonna party so hard. I guess he can't have the parade, and so that would be kind of sad. But he's gonna eat that fish. He's gonna drink that Ozeki sake. It's gonna be great. Probably do some karaoke.
That is the strongest opinion I
Oh.
think I've ever heard somebody have on Shiotaryu.
Right?
Yeah.
I think
No,
he's low key one of the lowest key wrestlers. we never talk about him at all.
Yeah. He never does anything of note. He's kind of like Kagayaki, but he's done stuff in the past at the very least.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I his most notable thing are his sideburns, and yeah, that's all I remember about that. But no, I think anyone winning is gonna be a fun time. I can't wait.
So to note about Chiyotairyu, he has a Kinboshi in Aki of 2018. He got a Kinboshi, but the next time that he had any sort of accolade to his name was Kyushu of 2013 when he got a Gino show.
Ooh.
So in the past 7 years, he's gotten a Kinboshi, and that's it.
More than Kagayaki can say.
Damn straight it is. So this is a very unique kind of day 8 situation where we have 9 co-leaders and then 6 guys chasing at 5 and 3. So not only is it that we have so many co-leaders, but like the record that they're at. And so I wanted to figure out what was the last time we had a Yusho race like this. And we have to turn back the clock to Nagoya of 2003, where we had 10 Rikishi tied at 6 and 2 record. And that is and that's as far back as I went because I'm like, yep, this one's really similar. I'm not going to keep looking. But that was the only other time that 6 wins was the lead on day 8. Every other time it was either 7 or 8 wins. So that just shows you how kind of mediocre the level of sumo is. Nobody's like rising above everybody else this time. And that ended up with Kaio winning with a 12 and 3 record. So you got to go back 17 years to find a situation that's similar to the one we're currently in. A couple of guys that we weren't able to talk about in the Yusho race are a couple of our Sekiwake, and those are Mitake Umi and Daieisho. Both of these guys look like they have ruined their chances of continuing their Ozeki runs. Daieisho's already at 5 losses, so he pretty much needs to win his last 7 matches to get a 10 and 5. Kind of hope to keep that Ozeki run alive. And Mitake Umi is at 4 and 4. Can really only spare 1 more loss with the toughest part of his schedule coming up at the end of week 2 because he still has to face Takakeisho, Asanoyama, and Shodai. God, Shodai is a tough part of somebody's schedule. Got to get used to that.
Don't worry, it won't stay there for long.
Oh, come on, Flarek.
So will either of these guys do that? And I think clearly no. I think Daieisho.
What?
I mean, Daieisho is already 3 and 5. He's not going to win the rest of his matches to go 10 and 5. I think his sumo honestly has looked better than Mitake Umi. He is just not getting the wins this time for one reason or another. Mitake Umi has, I don't know what has happened to him. He is not moving forward at all. I don't know if it's a physical thing. My guess is a mental thing because this happens to him all the time. He gets the double-digit wins at Sekiwake and then is just so incredibly uninspiring in the following Basho. If he wins, he has just been pushing people down the past couple of days, but he's getting no forward momentum off the Tachiais. He's being pushed back all the time. I can't see Mitake Umi turning it around at this point and pulling together 7 straight wins to get like 11 and 4 or even 6 and 1 with the toughest part of his schedule coming up. I once again I am to the frustrated point with my Mitake Umi fandom where I think I've said I'm done with him multiple times in the past. And so I am currently done with Mitake Umi, except he's my champ in the prediction series, and that really sucks because I don't.
Ryan, we know it's going to pick back up next May.
Yeah.
So,
But
okay.
it's still September. It's starting to cool a little bit more, but he won
Right.
in Aki last year. This should be the time for him to be alive. That's why I picked him as my champ because it's still warm outside.
But his energy is waning now. It's waning.
Ryan, the logic you're using is the same logic I used for Guido to win during Aki.
Oh no.
Oh, go Endo.
All right. Well, now I'm
you're
thoroughly depressed.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've made this joke before, but as the Earth continues to warm, I expect Mitake Umi to be a Dai Yokozuna in the next 5 years.
All right. We've had our fair share of injuries this tournament. So obviously we had Kakuryu, Hakuho, Ishiira not even start the tournament. But we also had Kodo Shogiku get clearly injured on day 2, where he was not putting any weight on his left foot and was just pushed out of the ring by I don't remember who. But he actually did come back on day 7 to beat Enho. Wasn't really a convincing win. I mean, Enho's just losing to everybody this tournament. And then on day 8, he had a loss, and it was very clear that that injury is still bothering him quite a bit. So now Kodo Shogiku is ranked Maegashira 11, and I would say that he needs at least 5 wins this tournament to guarantee that he stays in the Makuuchi division. I think if he gets 4, there's a chance he could drop to Juryo. And with his age and being an ex-Ozeki, he probably doesn't fight in Juryo. So he could be fighting for his in-ring sumo career. So Fleric, I ask you, is Kodo Shogiku going to make it to that 5 win point to guarantee him staying in the Makuuchi division?
There's no way. No, he's still clearly injured. And Enho is probably, of all the people you can face to be just pushed over, that's probably your best matchup while injured. But I think against anyone else who does some healthy sumo and hopefully takes, I don't know. I hate clearly injured Rikshi coming back because they're definitely hurt. And then as your opponent, you should definitely take advantage of their injury and like try to lean into that so you can hopefully win. So I feel like everyone facing him should take advantage of his calf muscle and hopefully get a win from there out. So I don't see it happening, and I think it's kind of silly that he's coming back in. But I guess he got 1 win, so I guess it's okay.
Well, to add to that, though, Fleric, his match today against Hoshoryu, toward the end there, he was limping pretty bad and still couldn't put any weight on his leg. So clearly still injured.
Yeah, that win against Enho, I mean, that's just like I was talking about earlier with the experienced Ozeki. If you're gigantic and you're going against somebody who's not gigantic, you just got to be patient and careful as opposed to using all of your power. So I don't think that win really told us anything about him being healthy. He may have just been like, Enho's on the schedule. I bet I can get 1 more.
That or just wanting to do a pancake. Be like, I'm just going to, charge forward and just completely plaster
the Kageyaki technique from a basho or 2 ago where Kageyaki just kind of like stayed there and then laid down on top of Enho.
Yeah, I think to Fleric's point, the only reason we're seeing Kodo Shogiku come back when he's so clearly injured is because I think he knows he's fighting for his in-ring career, and he doesn't want to retire, but I think if he gets down to that Juryo point, he will. So I think he's just trying whatever he can so that he can keep coming onto the dojo every other month. Another more not disturbing, but just not gruesome injury was Kyoku Taisei. He tore his Achilles on day 4, and if you watch that match, you could see when he plants his leg, you could see like the muscle just kind of like pop in his calf. And I think what it does is like rolls up from like watching NFL and seeing that injury in the NFL.
It happens in wrestling. Was it Triple H or Kevin Nash? Somebody had that same thing where like they're just disgusting because like if you're a bodybuilder, like wrestlers, like WWE wrestlers are, you can kind of see it roll up like a Looney Tunes window blinds,
Yeah. For Triple H, it would have been his quads, but the same thing as the same kind of visual just on the Achilles for Kyoku Taisei. Just not very fun to look at. The doctors say it's only 6 weeks.
Obviously.
As a WWE fan and NFL fan where people tear their Achilles all the time, the dude is going to be out for multiple basho. If he isn't, it is very foolhardy of him to think that he could come back after that. Like, with the way that it popped, you know that it's a very severe injury, and he should not be back on the dohyo for the next tournament. It would do significantly more damage to his knee, I believe, or his leg.
Whenever they have more than 2 weeks, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And they have 6 weeks for this one.
I'd be interested to go back and see if we know what like Tomokaze's like what his diagnosis was for how long he should stay off the dohyo. Because I mean he blew up his knee in Kyushu of last year, and he still hasn't been back on the dohyo. I'm curious to see what like the doctor's recommendation was for that. That might be something to go look back up.
Yeah, I think he's active he's on Twitter. He's training again, at least physical therapy kind of stuff.
I've seen him like doing weights and stuff like that, but still I've seen him doing that for like the past couple of months, and he's still not back on the dohyo. It just shows like how bad that injury was. And then we have Ishiira actually came back onto the dohyo on day 8. He had missed the first 7 days of action. He's trying to get enough wins himself to stay in the Makuuchi division, as he is Maegashira 13. So he probably needs to get 6 wins overall to stay in the upper division. I think 5 wins only would easily send him down to Juryo. So he needs to do really good this second week to try to stay in the top division. And I don't think that's going to happen. But since we talked about everybody with a winning record in this tournament, at least at some point, we've touched on pretty much most everybody. Is there anybody else anybody wants to bring up?
I would just like to take note of Tochinoshin and his kind of changing up strategy. He's kind of been doing a lot of pushing thrusting lately. I've been liking it. Yeah, it's been working out well for him.
He's 4-4, so he still has a chance to get Kachikoshi. Enho, as we mentioned, he's 1-7, and just the most non-competitive sumo matches you've seen. He's just getting blown up and thrown off the dohyo almost immediately.
Yeah, the Aoyama versus Enho match, I think it was day 8. It was very, very showing. I think people are kind of starting to get what we kind of predicted. I think Jake mentioned this too. Is like as people start to kind of get him figured out, he's going to be a lot harder for him to get wins. And Aoyama, he just kind of stood up and just kind of was like, I'm just going to push you, like if you get close at all. And I think we're seeing that a lot this Basho.
Yeah. And the last person I want to mention is our Hatsu Yusho winner, Tokushoryu, representing for Yusho winners everywhere at 1-7.
Yes. Keep living your best life, Tokushoryu.
Hey, also a big shout out to Abi. He has not looked very good this tournament.
No, clearly.
I hope he's like sitting at home playing video games and thinking about what he's done.
At the Heya, right? Playing video games.
Oh, yeah. He can't go home.
Yeah, but he's probably. Do you think he's got his own room there? I can't remember exactly the rules for that, or if he's just got to like hang out in the living room.
Yeah,
I think he's just got to hang out.
He's probably got to sleep at the foot of Shikuroyama Oyakata's bed every night.
Yeah,
keep my feet warm.
All right. Well, with all of that conversation done, we're going to take a quick break before we come back and talk about the GSB belt, the update on our prediction series, who is going to have to rap at the recap episode, and then the lightning round. Yo, what up, all my fellow Gen Zers? Have you been looking for a way to stand your favorite sumo podcast even harder? Well, the CEOs of Sumo have the perfect way to get more GSB content.
Don't leave us hanging. Spill the tea.
Launching after our Aki Midway episode goes live, we will finally be joining TikTok.
No cap?
No cap. The GSB TikTok channel will be fire as we release the most lit videos on a daily basis.
Yo, what kind of videos are they posting?
The GSB host will be doing all the popular TikTok dances and lip syncing to all of the trending sumo songs.
So, the Hakioi song?
At least once a day, every day.
Hype!
We'll also be posting all of the daily matches during the Bashos, but with like cool filters and effects.
Flex those TikTok skills.
Want to know what we really think of all the Rikishi?
Bet.
At least one video per day will be spent throwing shade at a random Rikishi.
Slay those Sekitori.
We gon' leave them shook.
They're gonna be more salty than the dohyo after a Terra Tsuyoshi match.
After hearing about all of that dopeness, if you don't follow GSB on TikTok, you'll be nothing more than a simp.
Big yikes.
GSB on TikTok. Low-key the biggest event of 2020.
Yeet.
What are you guys doing?
Recording a commercial for our new TikTok channel.
You know that TikTok is being banned in the United States, like today, right?
Son of a... I did see that Chio Kuni lost, so he is probably not our GSB belt holder, but I don't know who would be the current champion.
Let me give you a rundown. This the belt's going to get a little bit more exciting from here on out because we have because the belt is now in the Sekitori ranks. So that means that there's going to be 15 matches a tournament rather than 7 or 8 depending on who gets it when. But yeah, Chio Kuni won it last tournament when he went 7-0 and got the Yusho in Makushita, and now he's up to Juryo 11 West. He won on his first 3 days and maintained the belt. However, on day 4, Chio Kuni lost to Hakuyozan, who then the next day lost to Hideno Umi. Hideno Umi actually defended at one time against Chionoo. And then on day 7, guess who beat Hideno Umi to get the belt? That would be Chio Kuni. Yeah, right?
Is he our first 2-time GSB belt champion?
Well, Uro was more like a 17 times, 17 times, 17
well,
times.
No.
Oh,
but
sorry.
like the first guy who's lost it and regained it.
Yes, that is true. So yeah, that nobody who has won the belt and then lost it has gotten it back. So yes, you are correct there. Let's see. And then day 8, Chio Kuni stayed the champion by beating Tsurugisho. Next, on day 9, he will defend against Kita Harima. But for now, Chio Kuni proving some significant GSB belt resilience. So if he keeps this up, regardless, he's going to have a pretty good record. So he's going to be facing the other guys that are in the Juryo Yusho race, which gives me high hopes for where the belt is going to end up. If somebody who's in the Juryo Yusho race gets the belt, it's going to travel up the ranks quite a bit in between tournaments here.
Yeah, and could possibly get to a point where there's like a Makuuchi crossover match where that Juryo guy loses to the Makuuchi Rikishi. Yeah, we could be up in Makuuchi very soon.
Yep, I'd say within a tournament or two, depending on the last couple days of Yusho race kind of matches. But yeah, it doesn't even have to be a crossover match. If it's somebody that gets promoted to Maegashira, then the belt would just go with them.
Yep. All right, let's stop down and talk about our prediction series. Probably the prediction series that I have cared about the most in a very long time because the stakes are higher than ever, as it'll be a double punishment. So the top or the bottom 2 scorers will both lose, and it's going to be a rap battle, which I do not want to participate in any way, shape, or form. And unfortunately, it's a very tight race right now. So
yes, indeed.
Looking the worst right now are Jake and Fleric with 10 points apiece. Then I have 12 and Mac has 13. So as things stand now, it would be racist rap Fleric versus sexist rap Jake to see who would win. But
Battle of the century.
But I mean, as I've mentioned, Mitaki Yumi looks like dog shit recently, and he's my champ, so I don't have a whole lot of faith in him getting me points. So I'm very worried that Jake or Fleric will overtake me, and I'll have to rap. And dear Lord, nobody wants that.
Yeah, Ryan, you're not looking so good with my champ Asanoyama is starting to heat up a little bit. The only reason that you're ahead of us right now is you've got bonus points because your champ beat another champ and your chump lost to another chump.
Hey, I foresaw that, and that's why.
Sure. Regardless, though, it's not looking too good for you. If I had to pick my champ and chump right now, I would say I would pick any other team but yours.
Well, why would you say that? Because Yu Takayama he is now. So we have to talk about my chump, Yutaka Yama. He started
Yes.
off 2-6. He is Kyujo. He has pulled out of the tournament. How do we want to handle that? I have something that I will propose that I think is fair, not just because it's me happening the situation, but I want to hear what you guys want to do with this situation.
What with Yutakiyama?
Yeah, do
Do you-
I just continue to rack up points because he keeps getting losses, or
But he's not getting losses. He's not losing in the ring.
Yeah, but he's not losing at this
that's
point.
true.
I think we've always just kept it simple. If you pull out mid-basho, you just get full points. So that's my vote for it. Keep it simple.
Full points, like you want to count him getting 7 more losses?
Yep. When they do the ranking for the Bansuke, they count them all as losses. So
Yeah, I would disagree there because that doesn't benefit me.
has he pulled out?
Hmm.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah,
pulled out
Asano
today.
Yama got the Fusen win over Yutaka Yama.
Yeah, so today, for no matter what, 100%, his Fusen
Yes.
loss should count as a loss because that's
Yep.
always
Oh, yeah,
recorded
totally.
as a straight loss as opposed to an absence. But yeah, I don't know. I think our options here are you can't rack up any more losses, or
Boo.
you rack up all the losses,
Yay.
or I'd say somewhere in the middle. The only thing I can think of would be picking somebody new.
So that's what I was thinking. That
Yeah, that's the way I was leaning. In the spirit of the competition, it's supposed to be losses. And yes, while Fleric is right, they're counted on losses on the Bansuke. It's not a competitive loss.
so
Yeah.
here's
see
my
that.
proposal, and I think we do this for all Kyujo moving forward, champ or chump. And we could talk about this later offline, but for this tournament, at least with Yutaka Yama, I think it would be fair if I can choose a new chump, or like you guys collectively choose a new chump for me that has the same record as the person that has left.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
means even if it was like Hoshoryu for Jake, or let's say like somebody chose Tobizaru as their chump and he is 6-2, but now he got severely injured, he has to pull out. You have to choose a new chump, but you have to choose a new chump who's 6-2. So it's not like you can just go like, oh, Shohozan, he's my chump now.
right.
Hey, what
right.
about
like that.
what about each of the three of us get a veto, but you get to pick your guy?
Okay. So
That'd be like Ryan's first pick would be
Okay.
Shohozan, right? So we'd veto that one.
Yeah, we'd veto
or
that.
like Enho or somebody like that. Tokushoryu. I wouldn't say Ishiira because who knows how many losses he'll get going forward from today. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a couple different ways that we can do it, and it's just which way do we all agree is the most fair.
Yeah.
But I do think that it would be. I do think we talked about it towards the beginning of this this format, but we don't want anybody to benefit from somebody else getting hurt. I remember us
Right.
discussing that.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I think choosing the new chump from the pool of people that have that same record is fair. I also think if there's nobody available at that same record, like for the chump situation, okay, now I'd have to go up to the people that are 3-5 instead of the people that are 1-7, because that would benefit me
Right.
with the people that are doing worse. So are we okay with people moving forward with that idea for this tournament?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm game. I'm
Sounds
game
good.
for that.
Kodo
So-
Shogiku.
Who is probably going to pull out and have us do this exact same situation
Yeah,
again?
I'm gonna veto that one.
I was wondering if that might be the case.
All right.
The only other one would be Kyoku Taisei in the exact same situation.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody else who's 2-6. Do you, Ryan?
No, so I'd have to pull from the pool
No.
of 3-win Rikshi.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. What do you think, Fleric?
Yep.
That sounds pretty good. Whichever three you win, Rikshi, you want to go with, I'll be down for.
Okay.
Pick Hokuto Fuji.
Oh,
Root
that would be
against your
something.
guy.
I refuse. Oh, this is actually kind of tough because I kind of believe I have faith in like all of these guys to do somewhat well at some point. I'll just go with Sadano Umi as my replacement chump.
Okay.
All
Solid.
right, we'll find a
solid
way
choice.
find a way later to note that in our in the official tracker here. But
Yeah.
Okay. We're all good with that one. I'm good with that one.
I'm cool
Sounds
with
good.
it.
I appreciate your lenience and not forcing me to just get no more points for my chump.
Yeah, that
I
would
was too
suck.
good at picking my chump.
I don't know about that.
All right.
Diplomatic. I like it.
Any losses that Okino Umi gets from here on out will count as points for me. All right. So let's move on to our lightning round. And we will start off, as we always do, with who has impressed you the most so far, Mac.
Tobizaru, green and mean.
Fleric.
Heck yeah, Tobizaru.
Jake.
Nobody has beaten Ishiira in the ring. I'm gonna say Shodai because of all the crap we give him, and he's powering through that horrible mental hurdle that we've placed upon him.
I'm going to go with Teruno Fuji to be able to kind of look like he did last tournament, but at the top ranks against the top ranks. So I'm going to go with Teruno Fuji. Who has disappointed you the most so far? I had in here a couple days ago and is not named Asanoyama because that 0-3 start, I think all of us would have chosen Asanoyama for disappointment.
Yeah.
So besides him, Fleric, who has disappointed you the most so far?
I'm gonna go with Daisho, but he's kind of bringing it back a little bit, so only kind a half disappointment, but still a little disappointed.
What about you, Jake?
I'm gonna pick Enho.
Yeah, I think I can't disagree with that. I've got to stick with Enho on this one.
Kaisei for me. You're better than this, man. Come on.
All
He's got
right.
a couple exciting. He had an exciting win today, so maybe he'll come back.
All right. What has been everybody's favorite match of the Basho so far? We'll start with Jake.
My favorite match of the Basho is Day 5, Ryuden and Enho. It's Enho's only win of the tournament, but it was absolutely textbook Enho Sumo. And by that, I mean there was no textbook. It was all complete crazy improvisation.
For me, I think I've got to go with also a Day 5 match, but I'm going with Okino Umi versus Endo. Both guys got a hold of each other's mawashi, and they were just back and forth, lifting the other guy off a little bit off the dohyo, trying to push him out, resisting, reversing, lifting the guy up, resisting, reversing, just back and forth, this battle of strength and wills, which eventually Endo came out on top of. I love that match, so that is my favorite one so far.
Favorite for me is the grudge match. Asanoyama and Terutsuyoshi. Let it not be said. Terutsuyoshi can fool Asanoyama twice.
I enjoyed Tochinoshin versus Daisho. Just Tochi showing a different side of his sumo, and it was very, very energetic. I thoroughly enjoyed the matchup.
All right. Which matchup is our most exciting potential matchup moving forward? This one's tough because usually we have like, okay, this guy's in the lead. We know he's eventually going to face this guy who's also going to be in the lead. So that is my potential favorite matchup. But that's not the case really in this tournament. So I don't know where to go with this. I'm just going to say Teruno Fuji's Day 15 matchup, wherever that might be, because spoiler for a question a little bit later on, I think that's going to be when somebody wins the U show.
Most exciting for me, or potential matchup, is for me, it'll be Asanoyama versus Takakeisho. Love seeing the big guys going against each other, and especially with Asanoyama with the fire lit under him now. I'll be curious to see how that pairs against Takakeisho.
Yeah. Same for me. There's regardless how they're doing, usually Ozeki versus Ozeki always kind of brings me some excitement. So it's going to be Asanoyama versus Takakeisho.
I say Asanoyama versus Teruno Fuji in their playoff rematch.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
So I listened to the Sumo Kaboom podcast a couple days ago, and they were talking about this tournament, and they were talking about Takayasu and how they're pretty sure he's just like the best cuddler in sumo wrestling.
But he's so hairy.
But there was quite a big conversation on Twitter that emerged from that, talking about who the best cuddlers and worst cuddlers were in sumo. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion. Fleric, who do you think are the best and worst cuddlers in sumo wrestling?
Well, I think was it Sumo Kaboom? I think they have some good. I think that's good taste because Takayasu is definitely gonna be the best color of the bunch. He's just like a big teddy bear.
I think for me, oh, sorry, we're doing worst as well.
Oh, worst? Oh, I don't know. Who? I'll have to come back to you on that one.
All right.
For mine, I have nicknames for both because that's the kind of question that this is. So the best cuddler I'd think would be Todorogiku because I would just fall asleep on his giant belly. And
Nice.
worst cuddler I'd say would be Abidemic because he would just get coronavirus in you.
Oh,
All right, I got my worst. The worst color would be Shodai because it would just be awkward between us.
oh, come on.
You couldn't look him in the eye.
No.
Oh,
Especially
man.
after that Sumo erotica you wrote with him, there'd
Oh yeah.
be too much
Oh.
tension there. I gotta go with Cockney. I think Cockney is a dynamite cuddler. I think he's just a lover overall. The way he talks about his family and his kids, I think he's just an absolute dynamite cuddler. And I'm gonna go with a controversial opinion here. I think Enho, he might love cuddling. It might be his favorite thing in the world, but he just doesn't have the fluff that everybody else has, and so it would not be a pleasant experience to cuddle all of Enho's like sharp elbows and shoulders and all that stuff, whereas everybody else has fluff that you can lay on. Enho doesn't have that.
Enho probably also has very complicated cuddling positions.
Well, you know who doesn't have complicated cuddling positions? That would be Mr. Cherub Maru, aka Chiyomaru. That belly, that face, that demeanor, just smiling. He doesn't have to be asleep. He can just be there, lovingly laugh as you fall asleep on his gigantic
like it.
belly.
Shaking my head. You guys didn't even have
And
nicknames.
then, well, hey, Cherub Maru, thank you.
Yeah.
and,
Mac and I are on our game here. Everyone else is slacking.
And for the other one is worst, it'd be Kaga Yak for me, just because he doesn't do anything for me. He would just be there, just bland, cuddling, like, oh yeah, you're cuddling, nothing additional.
Taking duck face selfies.
He
Kaga
would
duck,
put his
nice.
arms around you, but he wouldn't like pull you in close. His arms would be there because he knows that's where they're supposed to go, but he doesn't exactly know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's
He's
just
not
does
cuddling
nothing.
for you. He just knows the concept of cuddling, so that's what he's going to do. And he just jams his hands into your armpits and then says, "Are we doing it right?"
All right, Jake, who's gonna win this whole damn thing?
I really don't want to say Terano Fuji because I think Asanoyama has a lot left in the tank here, but yeah, I think Terano Fuji's got to be considered the favorite.
That's what I've been thinking since like day 4. I'm going with Terano Fuji.
Ditto.
Same. Terano Fuji.
Wow.
Poor Takesho.
Well, I think poor Terano Fuji. There's no way after a 4-4 like that he's gonna win it.
No, he's my champ. You better win.
But I think we've already talked far too long for a Midway episode, so let's wrap it up and say that if you enjoyed this podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
GrandSumoBreakdown.wordpress.com is also a thing that exists.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Our recap episode will be up a couple of days after the end of the tournament, and make sure you tune in for that because I'm sure the rap battle will be something nobody wants to miss.
We'll put it up on TikTok, fam.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.
we gonna leave them shook.
They gonna be more salty on the than the. Let me try it one more time. I haven't read this far yet.